Hey everybody, welcome to this wartime edition of Midas Letter Daily. I'm here with my good friend and co-host Edward Molesky. Ed, how are you doing?
Well, I'm okay, except, it's hard not to think about world events.
Yeah, you haven't been hanging around in the Ukraine by any chance, have you?
No. Wouldn't want to be either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of a dicey situation over there.
Hard to believe, hard to believe this happened in the year 2022.
Yeah. I know, you would think we would be beyond such destructive conventional war, and it's kind of a farce, I look at the, the ability, the drone attacks on leaders of the Taliban in the desert. No problem. They just track his cell phone and take him out. Why have they not done this with Vladimir Putin?
Well, it's an amazing story. The guy gets in power, serves 2 terms, switches from president to prime minister, then switches back, and now he's president for life. It's just, you
but how would you feel
a piece of a master plan?
Well, what is going on with Vladimir Putin's thinking, though? Look at Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yeah.
This guy is a hero. He's fighting in the streets alongside the mayors and the presidents and all the citizens, and he is he's risking his life.
Yeah.
Putin
he's a former comedian. He's
very funny. Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, is sitting in his palace.
Former KGB. Comedian, KGB.
Right. Who would you rather have dinner with?
Exactly.
So what are the possible outcomes in this situation? I'll go first. I think he's either going to get capped in the back of the head by one of his own.
Right.
Why not? Save the Russian Federation from the clutches of a madman bent on self-annihilation.
Right.
Or B, he gets taken out, imprisoned, whatever, captured by some other force within, but it's internal, either way. Or he pushes the buttons and one morning the world is completely
You wonder
changed.
what kind of actual, can anybody get to him? Is he totally secluded?
Well, but with the technology of drones these days.
I know.
I think, isn't the U.S. the leader of the free world? If they can take out Taliban guys and ISIS guys, why aren't they taking out the oligarchs? Take them all out. The world would be a better place. Billionaires are parasites.
I want to buy one of their boats.
Yeah. Well, then you'll be you'll be an oligarch.
No, everybody's on for free.
Anyways, today's show is going to be different because our focus today, our theme, is about being your essence or being your story, and the fundamental difference between the two things. So those are going to be the sort of topical peregrinations we travel by. Yes. We also have a few public company CEOs to talk to about their offerings, their publicly traded stocks, as it were. We have Cameron Chell, founder and chairman of CurrencyWorks. We have Greg Bowe, CEO of Northern Graphite Corp., which, if you recall, back in 2012, was the first graphite company to really break out. Went to $3, now trading back at 70-80 cents. But that story, I was really surprised when I listened to it. If you like the show, you'll love our website. Visit us at www.midasletter.com for interviews with key CEOs, cannabis news, and to subscribe to our newsletter. JMW Seattle, how many users do Voxtur have? I can't answer that, JMW Seattle. You know why I can't answer that? Because they add, I'm going to say, thousands of users every month. Thousands of users every month. So I can't answer that question, but let's just say it's way more than I think. Full disclosure again, I just got to say it that we own an option on Voxtur on 1 million shares, so please don't get upset if we make out like bandits. Hannah Flips, this is a great, I love your handle, Hannah. Your first reaction to the Russian invasion of Ukraine for markets. It's very odd that markets rise when there's a war going on. they should crash. So that's what just some evidence. People can call this conspiracy theory all they want, but I think there is some government-sponsored U.S. direct asset purchases going on to prop markets up. Hannah, I believe that market should be crashing, but when there's that kind of artificial stimulation in the market, there's no predicting the direction of markets because we don't know what the Fed is wanting to do. Stephen Waters wants to know, could there now be a reduction in rate raise expectations due to conflict? Personal view. Up 25% at the next meeting, 16th of March. Clearly, Stephen, you posited that theory before Jerome Powell came out and said he was going to raise the rates by 25% yesterday. Well, so good guess on your part. And
that's really the what's his name?
Well, you know, that's why the direct asset purchases, because if they did let the market actually respond to the geopolitical instability and it crashed, they would have to pull back on this idea of rates. That's why they're doing the direct asset purchases.
Sure.
Anyway, so yeah, basically the markets are corrupt and you can't possibly make money in a corrupt market reliably. Marco Benedict, Colombia just passed a law allowing cannabis companies to export their agricultural products. Will the cheap cost of growing cannabis in Colombia impact the U.S. market? I don't believe they're going to allow that level of imports, Marco. Honestly, they will. I know that there is a Colombian company exporting cannabis into the U.S. for research right now, and that is Colombia Care, I believe. We had them on the show. But will they allow the Colombian supply of 5-cent cannabis to upset the U.S.? I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't believe that, just as Biden said on TV on the State of the Union address the other night, buy American. And they're a do as I say, not as I do country. They say free markets, everybody.
Yes.
But for us, it's buy American. So yeah, no way. The U.S. is corrupt as it gets. Bull Trader, is a recession more or less nailed on now if the Russians carry on for too much longer? So now we're going to measure an economic recession measured by GDP, and that's going to be different from the stock market performance. Typically, GDP and stock market performance are in lockstep. They correlate perfectly, but that is no longer the case because we have declining GDP across the G7 currently, but we have record markets. So that story is broken. Why? Because of the corruption inherent in the Fed stimulus program, now followed up with direct asset purchases on an undisclosed basis, I might add. Gene Boyce wants to know, will Cathie Woods doing a deep dive into psychedelics and adding a tie to her ARKK Genomic Revolution ETF have an impact on turning around the industry? No, I don't think so. Cathie Woods has a fan base, but she does not generally move markets. She's not an Elon Musk level of promotional influence. That's my opinion. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, I agree. And remember, with her fund having dropped back that much, you lose your notoriety as your fund.
Right.
You know, so,
you're no longer you're no longer King Midas.
Yeah.
Your story has changed because your essence is that you were always full of shit.
Well,
Ali Harrison wants to know, with everything happening, how high is the oil price destined to go?
Well, yeah. I mean, the volatility is unbelievable in oil. Like, it really is. This is the thing. Today, I think it swung from 116 to 107. That's a...
So at 111 as we speak.
It's not... Okay, there you go. $9 swing and something, you know.
So she wants to know where the top is in oil.
Well,
or is that might
you
be
know what? We're not sure. Maybe we saw it today. It got to 116. It's now 111.
I'm going to say oil goes to 150 a barrel. That's my story.
Really overbought right now. Like, it's really overbought, so we could get a sharp. Maybe we saw it earlier.
I say it goes up to 150 until the end of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, however that ends.
Okay.
Garrett Jenkins wants to know, is gold still the best safe haven asset out there? What are some of the others? Gold is, well, it depends what you mean by safe haven asset. If you're looking for purchasing power in your wealth, then I think gold is the best safe haven asset out there. In fact, I would put all my money into gold if I had any money to put anywhere, but right now all my wealth is tied up in my projects and my property, so I don't have any gold currently, so I can't really put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
However, I have a gold company that I own 20,000 shares in that I've held since 2014, and this company is going to be on the show next week, and that just, there you have it right there. I didn't sell my gold, so... If you're enjoying the show, subscribe to Midas Letter on YouTube so you stay up to date on everything investment. Ed, did you hear that the Queen has got COVID?
What?
The Queen Elizabeth.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Let me tell you something. First of all, she's a royal. Royals don't get COVID.
She has blue blood?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what,
Let's talk about Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, his essence is selfless heroism. And he can't keep that out of his story, especially when Vladimir Putin's story, self-delusional aggrandizement, is in trying to impose itself on his essence. And his essence will not stand for it. His story may become that he perished in the defense of Kiev, but we yet to be seen. Anyways, it's so tragic, and I just want to say that the conservative elements of the Conservative Party that align themselves with Putin by praising him in this time of misanthropic annihilation of human life, I think you've signed your own death certificate.
No, but that was before he did this.
Yeah, he invaded them.
I bet you I've said, I thought Putin was a pretty smart politician on the world stage.
Yes.
Now I kind of think he's lost his mind because he's so believed in it. He believes his story being the savior, the reunite Mother Russia,
So if he thinks he's the savior of Mother Russia, then there's zero chance of him pushing the button, right?
Although he's apparently said, what do you need an Earth for if there's no Russia?
Ooh. Yeah, but
you can talk is cheap, right?
And here's the thing: the threat of NATO is not existential as it pertains to the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, or Russia. NATO is not trying to take over. In fact, none of the NATO countries are managed by NATO or governed by NATO. NATO is a command structure for military cooperation in the event of a act of aggression by another country. So that's what's going on here. Anyways, we could go on and on and on.
You know what? The thing is, there's always a different way to say it. The bottom line is, when you get really, really believing that you are some above it all person, it's crazy. It's absolutely, you can't read. There's no reason, right?
Right. Okay. Right. So in our finite context of you and I having this little show, we got to consider what has been the effect on our investor audience by this act of aggression. And,
well,
I mean, how long have we been talking about gold in a positive light? Now, we have to admit that this extraordinary price action is directly caused by the geopolitical instability implied by a situation of warfare in the Northern Hemisphere, right?
Right.
So there are people accumulating gold because everybody's afraid, especially Russians, I got to think, and Ukrainians especially are accumulating gold.
They accumulated a lot of gold. Putin was a big buyer of gold.
Right. So there is definitely, you can see in this chart that the safe haven psychology that is behind gold is intact at this time. Yes? As demonstrated by this price action.
Absolutely. Gold is near a recent high.
Okay, so let's compare that to our Bitcoin, measured in US dollars here as well. Now, Bitcoin doesn't seem to be exhibiting any safe haven action, does it?
Well, look, it's had a couple of big runs. There's a big run here, right?
Yeah.
There's a big run here.
Yeah.
Now we've bounced off both times. So where are we here? We've bounced off again. So it's bouncing off. So maybe this is going to be the bottom for a short time. But it's not. No, it's not shooting up.
Right.
Like gold is, to answer the question.
Yeah. So it doesn't exhibit the characteristics of a safe haven asset at this point in your interpretation.
Although, I would say, just to be a bit of a thorn in your side, that in the last 2 weeks, I think it's moved up a couple.
That's it. Show's over.
Give me back my toy. No.
No keyboard for you.
Because I think what happened was a lot of the people that are doing some transactions are using Bitcoin to hide their money.
Wow.
So that's sort of a little bit of a, there you go.
So it's a gangster safe haven.
And the Russians are in there too. Let me tell you. The Russians are.
See, this is the thing, though. I mean, if Bitcoin was the new safe haven asset, it should be rocketing.
Well, true. But I will say this: this may be we may be at the beginning of a major, serious crash. Like,
right. The whole financial system could come tumbling down. What do you think the chances of that happening are? Like right now, from today, what are the chances, looking out at 2022, of the chances of, call it a 50% correction in the Dow Jones Industrial Average?
I would say that would be minimal. I mean, that
minimal.
I think that
minimal.
Well, what happens?
Tell you what, I'll give you odds on that.
What happens if Russia gets isolated, totally isolated? And is there ever going to be any result? There could be a civil war. There's going to be fighting. There's going to be, if this combat goes on, the scenarios are endless. Look.
Historically, Russia always takes out its leaders.
Rates moving.
Yes.
Right. Look on gasoline.
Okay, wait. Let's move to a chart of oil.
$165 a barrel. 160 already in Canada. 165 a barrel.
Okay, let's pull up
a liter.
Right. Highest price ever.
I've ever seen.
I've never paid that much. What the fuck are we driving for? I'm getting a bicycle.
I'm walking.
Even though it's winter. No, I know. We should cross-country ski to Toronto back and forth. Yeah. What a way to commute that would be.
Okay, I'm going to start tomorrow.
Okay. Look at this price action in oil. Oil's not a safe haven asset, is it?
Well, it's acting like it right now. Duh.
Well, but this is a response to supply concerns. That Russia's oil.
That's the thing about when the price moves up, give it any reason you want. The bottom line is the price moved up. Who gives a shit of the reason?
Well, if you're just a cold-hearted homo economicus.
Okay, well, I don't know, because of my problem connecting with reality.
You're not supposed to say that on the show. No, you're fully dialed into reality.
In a nice way.
My problem connecting. Damn, the secret's out. This is what makes us so entertaining. Ed has no grip whatsoever on reality. Damn, you weren't supposed to sell them, Ed.
Yeah. Okay. So
good point.
So yeah, it goes up. It goes up.
Yeah.
Copper. 474.
Copper is 473 today.
Okay, it's 473.
Holy fuck!
Look at. Now we're not even 1%. We're 1% away from all time, maybe 1.5% from. We've never seen this price before. And copper. And then but remember, Biden said in his address. You know what he said? He said, "We want to do things where we start it and we finish all in the United States."
Buy American. That's the opposite of free.
Here you go. Crown mining.
Yeah.
Crown mining.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Crown mining. Full disclosure, we're shareholders. You had to bring that up.
Okay.
No, but here's the thing. Look at the price of copper.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at U.S. copper. Well, Crown Mining, for you audience members who are now confused, Crown Mining was formerly U.S. Copper was formerly Crown Mining. Back here it was Crown Mining. They changed the name to U.S. Copper. Look what happened.
Yeah. As the price of copper goes up, eventually it should be kicked into play, and maybe that's happening.
According to this, the correlation between copper and U.S. copper is the higher copper goes, the lower U.S. copper is going to go.
Let's say copper goes to $1,000 a pound. I think people are starting to waking up to the fact that there's validity to holding these assets.
Well, I'm in discussion with the company about increasing the spend on marketing and taking a more intelligent approach to it, a full frontal assault on the market.
Okay.
I'm in discussion actively with management on that currently.
You need to call up Elon Musk and get him to buy.
You know what? If I get enough shares in this thing, I will fucking go see Elon Musk and I will tell Elon, let's do a deal here. You've got all the copper you need for 5 gigafactories in the United States right here in California. Let's do something. You need a hero. You need a win here. You need a public relations win.
America.
For America. Be a patriot, Elon. Come on, Elon.
I think he's an amazing fellow.
Well, he's definitely richer than we are.
Well, but is he richer in,
What's his story? His story. He can't escape his story.
He probably understands the story. He understands the difference. That's why any story he throws in, he can conjure up anything.
Right.
That's because it's irrelevant.
Okay, here's the price action intraday today on copper. So copper was up here at 477. It's now down at 472. So this big visual is not really that meaningful. It's only a nickel. Let's pull out the view here let's go to 5-year copper. And there's the story. There's where the copper, the essence of copper, is starting to become its story. Would you agree? Its innate value is starting to be portrayed in its price. The price is the story. The value is its essence. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'm not so sure I would say it that way.
Show's over. Thanks. Nothing to see here. All right, that's it.
Now,
Just kidding. Okay, so what do you think? Like, look at this.
Well, look. It's already right around the high it was in 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that, right? That big high back there, right there. So here we are. Now, if it gets through that high, you're at all-time high, all-time. Like, we're sort of there now. Okay.
We are there.
I know, but just by a little. But when it starts getting through 480, 495, 5.25, it's going to get revalued because, you just think about what this assault in Ukraine's done. So much activity is going to stop. Now, maybe it's going to kill demand for a while too, but when it comes back,
there's going to be a lot of copper needed to replace all that. Well, but all the copper is still there.
Yeah,
they drop a bomb on an electric plant.
Yeah.
The copper survives. Some of it might melt and go into the soil, arguably, but the majority of the copper will still be there. Exactly. Yeah. We're going to build a mine where there used to be a power plant.
It's so hard to try and figure out what's going to happen. But
all right. You want to see what the bigger story here, though, is in the energy sector? Never mind copper, which is, yes, impressive. Look at oil. Very impressive, though, albeit temporary.
Right.
Let's take a look at lithium. Because lithium is the story. This is the futures contract. This is expressed in price per kilogram. So to get to price per ton, you multiply by 1,000. So this is trading at, right now, right here, last futures quoted price was $63,000 per ton. $63,000 per ton of lithium carbonate. Now, even at the beginning of this year, from the beginning of 2021 to the end of 2021, the price of lithium increased by 5x. And it's already up another 15% in the first 2 months of 2022. So I had a guy who's heavily involved with lithium companies. He said he thinks it's going to $150,000 a ton.
So triple it from here.
Yeah, so triple it from here.
A little bit more. But
then what is this going to do for lithium stocks? Like, I'm working on a private company that has a direct lithium extraction technology that I'm going to work with the company to take it public. And if you're an accredited investor, you may contact us. Okay. Actually, we're going to do a Reg A offering on this technology. Currently has a joint venture in the Salton Sea, which is the geothermal brines in California.
Right.
They have a pilot plant starting up next week. And that's where the proof is going to be in the pudding. But if this thing produces lithium economically using this direct lithium extraction technology, Cathie Woods, it's going to be a storm of interest.
I think it's the lightest metal to hold a charge. Lightest metal that can hold a charge.
To hold an electrical charge?
Yeah, lithium.
Well, isn't hydrogen electrically charged? Doesn't it have one proton?
Well, but it's not chargeable. Doesn't it,
Well, I beg to differ.
Well,
if you concentrate.
Why did they say what I just said? Why did they write that up? Like, just because they're full of shit?
No, I just like to argue.
No, I know. You're very good at it, but I wanted to put an end to the argument.
Okay. Good point. Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about the.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the interest rates.
I was just going to say, let's talk about the fucking interest rates.
Okay. Well, what do we got here?
Okay.
Look at this. This is volatility.
Well, it went from 205, the 10-year rate, to 168.
Well, now, 180, yeah. Okay. And now?
Well, I think 186, 187.
184.6.
I got three of the numbers.
184.6 basis points. Yeah, so anyways, this is interesting because if you listen to what's being broadcast by mainstream financial media in the United States, they're trying to say that stocks went up despite the fact that interest rates have not yet risen, implying that when interest rates
actually backed off a little.
Well, but the comment from CNBC this morning was that despite interest rates not yet rising,
the
stock market is going up. implying that it's going to be a good thing when interest rates rise for the stock market.
Well, I don't think that's, you know what, look, I'm just looking at the tape, and it says to me, we really went down a lot in January.
The tape talks to you?
Well,
this is again to do with your grasp on reality again. He holds the tape and he gets the speaking in tongues. Okay, so what is the tape saying to you about this?
I say we came off big correction.
Yeah.
Like there's things going around, for instance, that say there's more stocks on the NASDAQ that are trading at half their highs in the last year than ever.
Yeah.
This is a very, very beat up market that sort of doesn't look so bad because of a few companies in the NASDAQ, right?
Well, 5 companies are what percentage of the value of the NASDAQ?
Probably 20-30%. Or
I thought more. 5 companies were 70% of NASDAQ value.
Maybe.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average.
Well, we're coming off of, there's a bounce there.
Here's the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So markets are down 7.24% since the beginning of the year in the Dow Jones case.
That's the best acting index.
Okay, so here's the S&P 500.
Yeah, down a little more. About
down,
10%.
Let's see, we're looking at right there. Down 8.19% since the beginning of the year.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, now let's look at NASDAQ, shall we? Here we go. NASDAQ is down 14.48%.
Well, I guess that's what I was saying, but
you were right.
There's another record.
You were right.
Yeah. But
you don't like that?
I think it's getting ready to roll over. Right?
Roll over. Roll over. Oh. So let's talk about quick word about our sponsor, Voxtur Analytics.
Yeah.
I want you to look at this chart. Okay, it's $1.15. I want to disclose that I have an option in a company for 1 million shares, and the strike price is $1.15. So technically, today, as of today, I'm in the money. Well, I'm not in the money.
No, you're not. You don't.
I'm at the strike price.
I'll buy those off you for a penny. Give you some value.
No dice.
Give you some value.
No dice. I'm not selling. You know what? I'm not selling when it's $10. You know why?
Why?
Because rather than sell stock in a price environment that's rising by double-digit percentages year on year, which it's going to continue to do for decades, in my opinion, I'm going to take out a security-backed line of credit at my bank. I'm going to say, hey, bank, I got $10 million worth of stock.
You leave your position.
Yeah, I don't want to sell it because it's rising at faster than the interest rate's going to be, assuming the interest rate.
Regardless of what happens in the world, you're impervious.
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, but the one thing that I have learned from the very wealthy on this planet is never sell. You never sell. You never sell something of value. You only accumulate things of value. Voxtur Analytics is a killer story. I am conflicted. By extension, Ed is too.
Well,
we're going to be we're going to be like pow pow drinking and partying like animals when this stock.
Hey, what's wrong with you? Whoa.
Anyways, this is the beginning of a change in their story because their essence is so strong. Here's the 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the United States. Sure. Why did it go down, Ed? Why did it go down on the 1st of March?
Went down.
Well,
it starts here.
3.88.
Yeah, but it was what, 405 or something?
Yeah.
Okay, it's down a tad.
No, it was 393, 393 here, 391. That's the high right there, 392.
Well, according to what they said today, it got over 4.
Okay, well, I'm sure
this isn't a candle chart. There may be a big wick up there.
Well, no, but the interest. This is quoted on a monthly basis. No candles because it's quoted monthly.
So the point is, rates have gone up, but with this rate, people getting scared buying bonds brings down the. You buy a bond, price goes up, yields go down. Yields went down a bit.
Yeah,
big deal.
Interesting side effect though is look at these. So these are all. This is the PHLX Housing Sector Index. Down. Here is the housing starts in the United States. New privately owned housing units started, total units down dramatically from the beginning of the year, like down from 1,703 to 1,638. That is a big jump in housing starts. That implies that the real estate correction in the United States has really started, and this is a reflection of interest rates rising. the anticipation of interest rates rising. Here are the Canadian housing stats. Even worse. Look at this. Now, the interesting thing in Canada is the prices are still in bull territory.
That'll change.
But with housing starts are dropping and the prices are still in bull territory, does that not imply that less inventory prices are going to rise even harder?
Well,
I mean, especially...
Yeah, but mortgage rates are higher. So
Canada raised...
Some other area is going to suffer.
The Canadian Central Bank actually raised the rate to 0.5. Yeah, 25 basis points. You know why? Because... And why did they do that? Because Powell came out yesterday and said he's going to raise rates by 0.25%.
Everybody follows the big boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
everybody's trying to make it like, I think the headline was...
Different policy over
I think the headline on Bloomberg Canada was like, Canada's central bank front runs the Fed. It's like, well, they didn't front run the Fed. The Fed has committed to raising rates. So it's a given. It's not front running. It's just, we may as well do it now and look like we have some semblance of leadership in the central bank when we know we don't. We only follow the Fed, as everybody does. The UK raised rates by 0.5 percentage point a months ago. A month ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
you sit back and you just say, okay, we got the rate thing, interest rates have definitely changed. Now you got this international war, but starting out to be, it just seems like, and you think of Jimmy Rogers, the great investor. Remember he said, when this is over, this is going to be the worst one because, we 8 times the Fed's balance sheet. There's all this liquidity, blah, blah, blah. And you think, all the dominoes seem to be not. In other words,
Jim Rogers is a big gold guy.
I know.
Yeah,
and he loves
he's been on our show a few times.
I know. I remember we spoke to him.
Oh, we did together, didn't we? Yeah.
I was hanging out with the big boys. Let's rub some.
Have you seen the new remake of Dune, Frank Herbert's?
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, it's good.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, but the average person probably thinks this is shit.
Timothy Chalamet, he's a real talent.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a real talent. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Is he?
Yeah, after that whole thing he did with Call Me By My Name, I didn't find that a very realistic situation at all. It just didn't seem accurate.
I really haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I've tried to. I haven't been able to watch it to the end because it makes me too squeamish. It's really weird.
I know.
You think I'd be able to handle it, but no, apparently not.
Yeah.
Okay, so real estate taking it on the chin here. You know what? We're going to take a moment here to talk about the metaverse. We've been spending the whole show in reality, and Ed's grasp on it is so tenuous that he's not having fun. So we're going to go to the metaverse, and our next guest is a metaverse currency purveyor, we'll call it, NFT provider, and Cameron Chell joins us now. He's the CEO of CurrencyWorks. Hey everybody, Cameron Chell is back. He's the founder and chairman of CurrencyWorks Inc. Trades on the CSE under the symbol CWRK and in the United States under the symbol CWRK as well. Cameron, welcome back.
Thanks so much for having me. Always so great to be with you.
You bet. Cam, let's start with an overview. How is the NFT business going with CurrencyWorks?
Yeah, so we're really excited about what's been unfolding in the NFT business. And our strategy in particular to that is that we use our blockchain, the CurrencyWorks blockchain, to build out a B2B platform or an enterprise platform so that other organizations can build out NFT offerings. And so we've launched with Barrett Jackson in the car collectible space. We've launched with major studios out of Hollywood on a project called Viewly. And which has actually launched the latest Anthony Hopkins film as a full-featured NFT, which has been just amazing. And we've also launched Music FX, which has already put out NFTs with top stars in the country music space and about to announce a number of other stars in some other genres as well. And so our focus from this point forward is our pipeline is really strong in terms of other, very recognizable brand organizations that are looking to build turnkey, curatable NFT platforms, meaning they just don't want to create an NFT and put it up on an open sea type network or such. They want to have a full experience where they're providing the wallet, they're providing the blockchain asset, they're actually creating the content and such, and building a community very similar to what NBA Top Shots did for the NBA.
Yeah, right. So it's interesting. The NFT universe has been in the news a lot lately because of the because of the infamous rug pull, and I'm wondering how has the manifestation of these rug pulls and other NFT sort of not positive outcomes affected the whole NFT universe at this point from your perspective?
Well, the market that we're specifically dealing with is really being driven a lot right now, actually, by the metaverse. So the notion that there's this e-commerce platform that's moving from what we traditionally know as e-commerce today in a very kind of almost static 2D world into a very enriched Web 3.0 experience, whether it's virtual or whether it's a 3D experience on a 2D screen. Where the underlying commerce in that market, right? It's being driven by blockchain, but the thing that's being sold are NFTs. Now, people may not recognize a skin or a concert ticket or an experience or something like that as an NFT, but that block that's actually being sold, NFTs are the product of the metaverse, of the coming metaverse. And so that's what's really driving our business right now. And so when we see a lot of these things that are happening in the what I'll call the unregulated market, the rug pulls, they're kind of happening in the Wild West part, the non-B2B space. But the enterprise customers out there are looking at this and going, wait a minute, there's a real market and there's a real demand. And what we want to do is have curatable metaverses with NFT drops that all fit within a regulated environment, where we can manage our brand, where we can have an interaction with our customers. And so for a company like us, those situations are actually driving business to us. There's definitely an adoption that's happened at a corporate level around the acceptance of NFTs as a product in the metaverse.
Yeah, you bet. So that's interesting. Then the NFT phenomenon is not encumbered in any way by what could obviously be categorized as growing pains for a new asset class, new assets, little understood sort of evolving assets tend to attract a high level of bad actors. So then how do you see the monetization of NFTs in the metaverse playing out? I mean, apart from the collectible aspect, which, to me, it's interesting. It's like, okay, so there's a limited edition of some original digital works of art, for example, and you can buy one with 1 ether or 60 ethers or whatever they're trading at. Then you can trade it and make money off the trading. You can lend them out. You can pledge them. You can use them to raise money to stake other cryptos. It's like, it all strikes me as extremely ethereal. And so, like, how does this, when you talk about the metaverse and DeFi and crypto and blockchain and NFTs, it's like, well, what does this take away from the real world, and what does it give back to the real world?
Yeah, where I think it really translates for existing brands and organizations today, and I'll give you an example, is Music FX. So we've got Parker McCallum, a #1 top-selling country artist, and just a crazy pipeline of artists coming behind him right now, which we're really excited about. So Parker, he basically built an online fan club, and you pay $100 a year, and you get it, and that $100 is transferred to you, or you get an NFT for that. And that NFT now gives you rights in that fan club in order to get early access to online concerts that he'll be doing, or early access to singles that he's released. And each one of those becomes an NFT. Now, what's incredible about that is that the NFT we think right now is a piece of art, but it can be the concert ticket, right? So it is actually the concert ticket that somebody will have inside the fan club in order to attend this special event. But that NFT, now because it's scarce and it's not duplicatable and it's tangible, right, can then be traded on a platform, right? You say, hey, listen, I attended this concert. I was one of only 300 people that were there. It's digitally signed by Parker McCallum. I can put it up on the marketplace and sell it. So now each one of those things can become a collectible as well. But the functionality, the utility of the NFT originally is the ticket to the concert, right? And pre that, it's actually the ticket to the fan club. So these are things that become very, very tangible. 90% of all of the sales of Parker McCallum's fan club were done by credit card. Now, people don't realize it, and they don't need to realize it, but the wallet that they have on Music FX, it's a 60-second sign up. It's as easy as signing up for Netflix or anything else, but it's actually a crypto wallet that you've got. But you can use ETH, you can use Bitcoin, you can use your credit card, you can use any number of ways to pay for it, and it's done 100% within the existing banking system, and it's seamless in order to do it. And again, that's the experience, and that's where we continue to see this NFT market going, or certainly where we're going to continue to focus on it.
Sure. Okay, so then in terms of like for investors in CurrencyWorks, you could say that it's an increasingly attractive entry opportunity for CurrencyWorks stock at this point, or you could say that this doesn't look like it's panning out for investors. What would you say to an investor who's sort of being told that this is a good entry level for CurrencyWorks, and like you guys are you on the brink of serious revenue, making money, profitability? Where's that at?
Yeah, I mean, we continue to show Q over Q growth, and without giving any guidance, I'm very confident in saying that our numbers are doing really, really well, and we'll are now kind of approaching that point of being meaningful and continuing to increase in a meaningful way. If we look at the private comparables out there right now of companies that do the type of work that we do, the NBA Dapper Labs, which is an amazing company, and I don't want to draw too direct of a comparison, but the reality is, they have a blockchain, we have a blockchain. They have NFT corporate enterprise customers. Now, those customers are, the likes of the NBA and the NFL and the premier ones in the world. But if you look at the lineup that we've got, and certainly the lineup that we have coming, they're brand names that we all recognize. And those companies have to work with organizations that have full compliance, that have all the proper licensing. And that's really the market out there that we're going after. Now, somebody like Dapper Labs has, multi crazy billions and billions of dollars of valuation and have raised, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you look at the relative value, I think we're a great entry point as a public company. And we've got a management team that's built great companies before. We'll continue to build it out. And over the course of the coming year or 18 months, I think investors really have the potential to be extremely rewarded.
Okay, so what about your competitors in the space? Are there an increasing amount of competition because of the emerging NFT metaverse?
Yeah, I would say there is. There's a lot of startups, and there's a lot of fantastic ideas out there. There are direct competitors in terms of somebody like a very well-known brand coming to us and having us build out their platform for them, of which we've got upside and ongoing reoccurring revenue streams. There's very little competition. There's 2 or 3 organizations that are kind of like always at the table or being asked about, or that we're being compared to, or that we might be in some competition with. So it's healthy because it also means that we have a validated market. But in terms of the overall amount of people that are in the NFT market, yeah, it's swelling. But again, a lot of them are dealing with, kind of building a lot of their own concepts, or trying to build their own crypto punks, or do a lot of things in that kind of nascent, very, very new market that isn't really dealing with established brands. So I kind of feel we're in a really good spot where we've got a healthy amount of competition, and we've established ourselves as, if there is a brand that's going to go out there and do this, they're going to be talking with us. I'm highly confident based on our inbound traffic.
All right. Well, that's a great update, Cam. We're going to leave it there for now. Thanks very much for joining me today. We'll come back to you soon.
Always so good. Thanks so much, and have a great day.
You bet. Bye for now. This currency works in the United States. Been a very painful experience for investors who bought up here. $2.85 down to 16 cents. But as Cameron says, he thinks
round turn.
Cameron says it's a buy down here.
Is it?
That's what he says. Yeah. So they make NFTs. Have you got any NFTs?
You know what? All this artificial, I wouldn't say artificial, but back to creating something out of thin air.
Fraudulent.
This is all going to bite it. It's back to this valuation.
When that Ponzi scheme collapses.
And I'll remind the folks that when the day the market peaked, was the day Apple hit 3 trillion.
Oh, that's from Ed. There's Ed's big prediction for the year.
Well, I think the top's in for a while.
Okay, so what about this? What if the drones take out Putin? What if Biden sends in a drone strike, takes out Putin, and then there's democratic elections in the USSR? In other words, right to self-determination and tax. So there's no retaliatory impetus inherent. Arguably, Biden has the moral high ground, the moral mandate to say, I'm taking out a monster who's causing the deaths of innocent people by, that's his mandate.
Right.
So I think that Putin is going to be taken out by force. I think that this is going to be the trigger for Russia to become a democratic republic again. And I think that there's going to be a whole destabilization of Russia, and it's going to diminish, go back towards where it was when the USSR broke up, because there's going to be that whole resolution needs to happen. But meanwhile, the US will have the Cold War threat and mentality will be over. I think the US is going to raise rates. They're going to roll in stimulus, market be damned, but I think there's going to be so much direct asset purchases by federal US dollar interest that the markets are going to continue to skyrocket. The housing market's going to go. It's going to be game on. It's going to be party central. I honestly do.
When did you come up with this thing?
Just a minute ago.
Yep.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's a story.
Concrete.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think that the U.S. is going to grow some balls, take out Putin, and they're going to force.
10 days before he unleashes some firepower that.
Drone, motherfucker, drone.
Yeah, I don't know.
A drone can fly right in here. Sit. They can park outside this tent, throw a fucking mother of all bombs in here, a Moab.
What if he doesn't move? What if they don't know where he is?
Well, that's just it. What is his location? And do they know his location? Yeah. And, do you think that Putin's hubris is sufficient that he's like, they will never do that? I can sit right here in the Kremlin at my 30-foot-long table.
I don't think he's where everyone thinks he is.
I don't think he's located. I think he's too smart for that. He's a KGB guy.
Yeah.
He's a Fox first.
He's the real James Bond.
He's the
No.
He's the original Molotov cocktail.
There's been reports early on because apparently he married a stewardess.
Oh, so there is a Mrs. Putin.
Well, I think this is the second one. Then he married one of the top gymnasts at one of the Olympic things.
Oh, Miss Putin.
Miss Putin disappeared.
I'm done with you. Yeah, execute her.
He's got his daughters, apparently. They have separate identities and, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing we want to remember is this.
What's that?
When you compare commodities as an asset class to equities and the S&P, for instance, okay? And that I used to see these maps, and they show that it gets out of whack, not that often, like every 10, 20, 30 years. And now we bottom when commodity prices wasn't that long ago, less than a year ago, I think. Maybe it was a little longer than that, but the prices have started to move, and here we are, and they seem to be getting higher, not lower. And
which prices?
Commodity prices.
Yeah.
Like copper, if it breaks 5, I'm telling you right now, folks, watch it hit 6 very fast. And that's going to be it. Like
5 will get you 6?
5 will get you 6.
I'm going to take some time here to point out, this is when you go looking for prior sales in a publicly traded company, this chart right here is what you're looking for. And this will typically be in either
a starter sheet,
a listing statement, or it could also be in the annual financial statement. It could be in a prospectus. It should be in every single document.
Prospectus for sure.
I think they should make the law that this is appended to the bottom of every press release.
I don't think they'd put it in unless they had to.
I'm not going to name this company because I turned them down for an interview because of this structure, because I find this extremely predatory on retail investors.
Would you say it's egregious?
25 million units at a penny per unit. On August 3rd, 2021. On August 23rd, 2021, 2 weeks later,
let's bump it
3
up.
Weeks later,
let's bump it up.
We're going to raise another, so we're going to issue 77.3 million units, meaning a share and a warrant or a half warrant. We're going to check that out at 2 cents. Then 7 days later, another 12.2 million stock options they issue to themselves. That's management at 10 cents. It's like, are you kidding me? And then they raise money at 33.25 cents here, And it's like the highest they ever raised money at was 33 cents. So this is amazing to me. Now, this first financing contains 1 share and 1 warrant, with the warrant an additional share at a nickel. So this is...
So how many shares are in this thing?
Well, there's obviously 140 million.
Well, there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So this is actually 20 million shares with an average cost basis of, call it, 4 cents. And it's for debt settlement. So this is an insider making a sweet deal for themselves. 25 million.
I think we get the
yeah. Okay, but this 77 million at 2 cents.
Every company.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the 77 cents. Issued 1 share and 1 warrant on 77 million shares with the warrant at 5 cents. Like, if you buy this thing and you pay more than 2 cents, you're a sucker.
They don't know what to buy.
You're a sucker.
You gotta tell them. No, don't.
Well, I'm not going to say anything further, because this is all I'm doing is using this as an example of what you need to look for when you're considering an investment in a company. You need to know what all the other paper was issued at. This is the bottom line. This is the only thing you need to know. If they have a cure for cancer and they issue this kind of stock, guess what? That thing's never going to break 10 cents till they've sold all that 2 and 1 penny paper. That's it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's the lesson for the day. That's the Midas Letter story. We're sticking to it. I got one more guest. We got another guest coming up. Greg Bose joins us now. He's the CEO of Northern Graphite. Greg Bose joins me now. He's the CEO of Northern Graphite Corp, trading on the TSX Venture under the symbol NGC, and in the United States under the symbol NGPHF. Greg, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
For once, I don't have to ask what the business of the company is, because it's apparent by the name. You're a graphite producing company, or you're a graphite exploration company at this point?
We are just in the transition point between the two. So we have a large development project here in Canada that needs to be financed. So it's an advanced stage project. However, in December, we announced a truly transformational acquisition. We're buying the natural graphite division of Imerys SA, which is a 4 or 5 billion euro company based in Paris, public company. And that will not only make us a producer when the deal closes, which is expected to be within 2 weeks. By the end of this year, we should be the 3rd largest non-Chinese graphite producer in the world.
That's impressive. Yeah, Imerys is, huge. They've been the major offtake partner for many graphite and graphene producing companies. So that's incredible. Was that deal announced in November?
It was announced on December 2nd.
So where is the project?
We are actually buying 2 mines from Imerys. One is here in Canada, in Quebec. It's about 2 hours north of Montreal. It is the only producing graphite mine in North America. And the second one we are buying is in Namibia. It's currently on care and maintenance. It needs a little bit of work to bring it back into production, but it's fully built and operational. So we expect it to be back online by the end of the year.
So what did this transaction cost the company?
Total cost is about 65 million US, 60 to 65 million US. So we've arranged financing through the Sprott Group, who you're probably familiar with. So we are selling them a royalty, a stream, and they're providing debt financing. That all totals about 45 million. And we're raising about 15 million in equity, and they're the lead advisor on that. They are also participating in the equity, as is Imerys. So the financing package is in place for the transaction.
Fantastic. And is there a construction phase required for both of these projects?
Not the one in Quebec. As I said, it's fully operational, so we'll go from a development stage company to a producer. That's very important for us because obviously it gives us customers, it gives us market share, it gives us transparency on pricing in what is a somewhat opaque market, if you will. The second project in Namibia, it's going to cost 10 or 12 million US to get that project back online, and that's part of our 65 million raise is the funds to do that.
And is Imerys going to be the buyer of your graphite products?
No, we will be selling some to them, but they will not be the major buyer. They have some, let's say, manufacturing divisions that use graphite, and they will be buying a bit from us, but they will not be the major purchaser.
What sort of value of graphite will you be producing each year initially?
Off the top of my head, Lac des Îles mine in terms of annual revenues would be up in the 25 to 30 million a year US, and Namibia would be more like 45 million. So, we're going to be up in the 70 to 80 million dollars a year range in terms of revenue. But another big part of the story is behind that production, we have two very big development projects. One is our own Bissett Creek project here in Ontario, which is a feasibility level stage project. And it's been estimated by an independent party, Benchmark Minerals, that it is the highest margin graphite project in the world. And it's located in the southern part of Canada, close to infrastructure. So that will be next, financing and building that. And another big feature of the Namibian acquisition is that that operation, 25 to 30,000 tons a year, is based on the weathered resource. There's a very large hard rock resource underneath it, which could support 100,000 tons a year plus. So we're going to be doing our feasibility studies on that. Both those projects would be much bigger than the two we have now. And the idea is obviously the growth in EV and battery markets and the demand that's going to come with it. They're going to need big mines. We are going to have three of them in politically stable jurisdictions close to infrastructure. And, again, that whole Russia-Ukraine thing just highlights how critical local, sustainable, secure supply chains are. And these projects all fit right into that.
Of the 75, 80 million of your initial production from these two new acquisitions, what is your all-in cost of production?
It's probably going to be in the $700 to $800 per ton range, and the revenue would be up in the $1,300 to $1,500 dollars per ton range. So a very good margin on both projects.
Wow, that's amazing. The first time I heard about Northern Graphite, I think it was like 2014. Is that accurate? 13 maybe? I remember it being one of the first graphite companies to be a real high flyer on the stock exchange.
We were the original new graphite company, and it goes back before that to 2010. And we did it because of the outlook for EVs and battery minerals. We were obviously way too early for that, but we were spectacularly successful for a different reason. And that was the whole commodity supercycle growth in China. All the steel-related commodities, the prices went nuts, including graphite. So graphite went from $700 a ton to $3,000 a ton, and our share price went from 15 cents to over $3. So we had a lot of very happy investors in the early days, but unfortunately, graphite's time in the sun did not last very long because the Chinese economy slowed down. And all of these steel-related commodities, the prices fell out of bed. So it's been a lot of down to sideways action since then, waiting for the promise of EVs and batteries to stimulate demand and create higher prices. And we've seen that in spades in lithium. And I think graphite is poised to be next. So it's a good time to be buying graphite assets.
That's amazing. Okay, well, Greg, we're going to leave it there for now. That's a great update. It's heartwarming to hear a Canadian success story in the graphite mining space. We'll come back to you in due course and have you back. Thanks for your time today.
You're very welcome.
You bet. Bye for now. Now we're going to go to a chart on Northern Graphite. All right, so obviously, Northern Graphite, as they say, they're going to be in production now thanks to their acquisition of those 2 mines from Imerys. And this is a different story. Now, remember, I was talking about Northern Graphite. This was the first graphite story ever traded in Canada that actually had this price breakout due to the new enthusiasm for graphite. Look at this. It was up here, 240 a share. I thought it traded.
Is it again another example of
got as high as 340?
Why commodities are the place to be?
Yeah, well, this is before they were even producing. This is
even before they were a commodity.
Well, they had Bissett Creek. This is the story.
A story or essence?
This price was, well, it was their essence at the time, which became their story. But they were one of the only stories out there, which is why the price went here.
But look where the stock is. It's way down there.
Well, I know it's sold off because the interest in graphite, the lithium story still hadn't got traction. Remember back in 2012 to 14? So
this is now a lithium play.
No, it's still a graphite play. They're buying the 2 projects off of Imerys that are going to make them a producer, which is why they have this here. And as he said, $80 million in revenue with a roughly 60% margin. Oh, sorry, 40% margin. Anyways, that's our show for this week, people. I hope you enjoyed it. Are you done, Ed?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay.